There's opportunities out there. There's so much free training available. It blows my mind. Good quality, not like I'm sharing somebody's CBT nuggets password training, like good training. And we'll get into that in a second as we'll talk about the tech and some of the other parts of it. And I know your eyes lit up. Is there something you want to add to that?
No, it's just that, I follow Mark Cuban's blog and things like that, and that's one of the things that he put out years ago that I really believe in, right? Because one of the things he said is really in this world that we live in today with the freedom of information that we have, there's really no excuse for to hold up your hand and saying I have to be trained for I can do that before I can do that. Yeah, that now obviously if you want to go and do brain surgery, you need some training. But there, a Power BI developer, not that it's easy, but there is so much out there to where you can go and really have a good solid understanding and foundation of the tool before ever doing your first project.
But in fairness, nothing beats, in my opinion,
Hmm.
nothing beats good old fashioned scar tissue.
I agree.
Nothing beats, getting in there and, as we showed earlier, like breaking something, right, constructively. Um, and that doesn't happen without putting together a framework for
Hmm.
success within the group, right?
That's
So
right.
it's imperative that people understand that in order to be successful, you can't just find people that are unicorns and be like, let's go do some
Hmm.
BI, right? Because all hell will break loose. And you've got this new product that's built in a completely different way. So what George's team recommends and what we think is the right way to approach this is agile, right? And I know that's the hotness for the last 10 years. Everybody's like agile, 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 agile. But in this instance, used in a more um, correlated way to what agile really is, which is just super flexibility and some of the other things that come with that, and low documentation and quick turnaround and working on sprints and stuff. Like, you can build a program around this, and I think that that's the game changer in success to BI projects because of the way that they're able to turn around deliverables, right? Like, just get something out there.
No, I agree, and kind of when we first started off the webinar talking about how hard it was and how much time it took to build BI, even just 5, 6, 7 years ago, that's been totally turned on its head, right? The guidance on BI and Agile, 5, 6, 7 years ago was you can be it's possible to be agile, right? It's possible after you've laid all the infrastructure and got that first giant project out of the gate. Then you can start. Then you might be able to start iterating on requirements, right? And yeah, to a certain extent you could, but it was very hard to just come out of the gate with that because you had to have that consolidated data model built. And we already talked about how much how many resources and how expensive and how time consuming it was. But with a tool like a flexible tool like Power BI that's you know eh, capable of being an all-in-one acquisition, modeling, and visualization tool with that flexible schema on read that kind of lives in memory. Now you have that opportunity to really iterate and do 1 week cycles, 2 week cycles, 4 week cycles. To me it does. Yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in the commands of agile, and when people say agile they usually mean scrum. But for me it's let's just get something out fast. It doesn't matter if it's a 1 week cycle or a 4 week cycle. Just get in the habit of iteratively delivering value, something that people can use.
Well, and this is gonna. So here's the dirty secret that I'm gonna share with everybody here. That everybody, I think, somewhat already kind of knows. There is no BI program without funding,
Hmm.
right? And there is no funding without some interest. And I can tell you that I've I've seen more CIOs lose their jobs due to a bad ERP implementation, not due to the process side of it, but due to the data extraction reporting side of it, right? And so the goal should always be when you're trying to implement Agile in these systems, it's not to do it because it's the hotness and it's because it's a framework. Like, you can do waterfall frames or you can build any type of framework you want. But specifically with data, what our team has found and what we strongly recommend is you got a group of people that get together, right? And somebody goes, we need BI. And then they go, okay, well, we've got a bunch of like citizen BI guys running around already, right? Myself and, my buddy Mark here at work and all of us, we're already kind of using Power BI. So somebody in the company says, okay, well, how much will it cost for us to do this BI program? And let's just throw out a nice round number. Somebody goes, it'll be $1 million for 2 years. And at the end of 2 years, we're going to have all this awesome stuff. Or it's $2 million for 2 years. And so we're like, okay, cool. $2 million for 2 years, project approved. Let's go. So a bunch of people who have a lot of money put $2 million on the table to start being able to make better decisions. And then what happens? So then somebody's in charge and starts doing it waterfall, and they start doing it the old way. And then you're at 6 months and somebody's like, hey, where are we at on the BI project? Can I see a report? And they're like, nah, we're still building the warehouse. Now we got everything extracted. Like we found some anomalies. Like we're still gathering requirements. 9 months, right? We got it all in there. We're starting to put some marks together. We're still working on some security contacts. Like, you got any visuals? Not yet. We're doing some wireframes. Maybe we could show you what it might look like. And then a little before 12 months, as George said, the sales team is like, we picked a new CRM, right? It is part of our plan for next year. So, we got to start over because all the CRM data is not flowing through over to the operations data properly. And then you're 12 months into it and your stakeholders all get together for their annual meeting. You've spent $1.4 million in the first year and there's no reports. That's what happens, right? So you've got to have some sort of system. Like Power BI is built when their tagline originally was 5 minutes to wow. And it was built to do data exploration. And it's evolved into a full-on analytics application, right? So, the art of agile, right? Using sprints, focusing on bite-sized chunks, getting something meaningful in the hands of the users, that to me, right, is the most important part of it, right, George? Like, because if you can start getting stuff in people's hands, they start to play with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.